Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode. So, last episode we worked on that new entrance and those couple drop tunnels and that bubble elevator over here. And at the end of the video, we built this this cave around it right here that you can see. We built this. Now, I'm not exactly pleased with the progress we got, and I've got some ideas on how to work on this thing. Because that tree right there, I want to keep that tree there. I want that thing to be fully integrated into this thing by the end of this build, but I am not happy with that entrance right there. So anyways, this entrance I'm not fully happy with. I mean, I like the idea. I like that it's a cave and the cave brings you down into the mines. Something I don't like is that you gotta turn around to be facing forwards, but that's... I can fix that. That's a problem with the way it's all built anyways. I might do something about that, and I might actually come in from over there. I'll need to work all that out later. But I've got a new idea for all this, and that we might get to in this episode, we might not. The thing I want to work on right now, though, the most important thing, is the farm situation. Now, I have got this shulker box full of stuff from my farm. That's not even everything I picked up from over there. But this should be more than enough to get things started. Server's a little laggy right now. But that should be more than enough to get things started. And I want to build the farm up in here, in this area. And I might extend it out that way a little bit, I'm not sure. But this is roughly where I want it to be. So this episode, I'm going to need to move all of the animals. I'm thinking I'm going to move them up there. I'm probably going to do a lot of terraforming. And we're gonna see how it goes in the end, but that's the plan right now. We're gonna get working on this farm. I'm gonna sleep real quick because I don't want stuff spawning, and then we will get started on the work. Alright, so I've got my animals moved here, llama's here, horse here, they're just leaded up to some fence posts. Here's Stompy right here in this tiny little pen. This is all temporary, by the way. I'm gonna do something better. I'm actually thinking of actually incorporating the animals into the tree farm here. So pretty much this entire area will probably wind up being fenced in, and the animals will be just roaming around in here. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it, but that's going to be for a later project. Right now, what we've got to do is we've got to get working on this situation in here. The first thing I think we're going to be doing is some terraforming, because this is a pretty good location on its own, but it could be better for what we're planning on doing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand on this little patch right here that's dug into the ground a little bit, and I'm just going to push it out as far as I can all the way around and keep it looking semi-natural. So then everything will be separated from the pumpkin farm and from the house itself up here. I am going to go up the hillside here, and then I'm going to put more farmland up here where the sheep used to be. I'm going to work on this so that it looks more natural, and hopefully by the end of this we'll have a really big farm and a really good looking farm. So I'm going to get on that right now. So I thought I was going to start out with the actual farming stuff, and I thought I was going to like till this land and all that sort of stuff, you know, put in the water, whatnot. I ended up starting out by expanding the paths because I knew I was going to do that anyways. And this really gives me an idea of just how much land I'm actually going to have for farming, and it's not as much as I was thinking it would be. You can see I pretty much just extended this path type that I had already made up in here, and I just expanded it out that way, connected it to that, connected it to the front of the house, and then I ran it up here. I knew I wanted a path going through initially anyways, because I wanted it to look like this house was being used from the entrance over here. So that's why I wound up going with this. So now what I gotta do is I just gotta start getting this all set up as farmland. And I've got a different idea this time on how I'm gonna do it exactly. Let me count this out real quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this works out perfect. So I did a test just before I started doing all these paths to see just how water spread on tilled soil. And I learned, I thought that the water saturated the land in a 9 by 9 diamond shape, but it turns out it's actually a 9 by 9 square from the center being a water block. So if I count this real quick again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's the center point. Then I come to the middle about here. So that's 7, and then there's 8. This will actually saturate the land everywhere from 4 there to 4 there, all the way out to here, and then everything in here. So this one water block will actually cover all of this land in here. Gonna pop in some water real quick just so that this doesn't do that. And you should be able to see in a second this starts saturating like that. Now this right here, these blocks are already outside of what I thought it did. I thought all it did was it came out to here, then it would have jumped over here, 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 and then here. And I thought that's what it did, but apparently it covers a full 9 by 9 square. So I am going to take advantage of that. And the design I did before, I had these spruce trapdoors here. I'll just place them over top of the water. I'm not going to do that this time because I want to light up this area. So I have an idea. I know that you can waterlog blocks now, and you didn't used to be able to do that, so I never think about it. But I think I can do it to walls, right? So if I put that in, yeah. Okay, that makes things really nice. Because I was wanting to light this up, and I'm going to repeat this sort of design here. But I'm going to do it all over the place based on the placement of these water sources. So that's the plan. Now I'm going to just go and set up all the water sources, put in all the lamps, till the soil, and then I'm going to start planting the seeds, and we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so quick update. I got everything all laid out, all the land is tilled now, and I got the water sources in, and then I also put up all the lamps. So all this is done, it's lit up now. It's safe-ish the lighting's still not nearly enough to keep things from spawning, but it is lit up a little bit so it's safer than it would otherwise be. But this is coming along pretty nicely. Now all I have left to do is I want to continue doing these cobblestone walls around the outer edge of things. So I'm going to take that out around here. And then over here I may do that. I need to decide on that. I might do a little bit down here and then up there a little bit, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to need to do it here. So not very many cobblestone walls added, but just a couple. And then after that, I'm going to put fences around it in some select locations to sort of protect it from mobs. Because I'm afraid that like something's just going to come walking through and just trample all my crops. So I'll put up a couple fences to prevent that from happening. I'm thinking I'm going to use oak fences to kind of contrast all of the spruce wood that I'm using right now. I think it'll look pretty nice. It'll blend a little better with the paths than the spruce does. I think it'll look good, so I'll get started on that real quick, and then I'll give you an update, hopefully, once all that stuff's up, I've filled up the land, and it should be good to go at that point. I did it, guys. I got it finished. Just rows and rows of crops in here. It's not nearly as much as it was. I can already tell it's not as much. I sat for a little while at my mob farm to get my tools repaired up and to give this stuff time to grow so that I can show you. Oh, it's just a nice sight. And the fences are all up, just like I said I was going to do, as well as some extra cobblestone walls around the place. I'll show that. Some fences as well as the walls. I had some trouble with the fences, actually. I couldn't get them to look right. I wound up going with this sort of broken up partway through sort of design where they don't always attach. And I've occasionally got these cobblestone blocks just placed in every now and again because I think it looks nice. It also blends it in with the pathways a little better. So it all just fits a little nicer now. Then there's some more cobblestone walls up here. I haven't done anything with that yet. This is a project for another day. I can already tell that. But this just came out so nice. It looks good. I think the fences are all in places that are going to mostly stop mobs from dropping down on the crops and breaking them. There are the odd spots like this right here where there's just nothing and mobs are certainly going to drop down on it. But I think for the most part this is going to help. I'm happy with the way these lanterns turned out. They're not all the same. Most of the ones I made before were like this one where it's just a single lantern on the post. But a lot of these I ended up doing doubles like this. And occasionally I did a corner one like this. Because this one didn't really make sense to just do a single, because I kind of wanted to light up the path here and I also wanted to light up in here, so I wound up doing this instead. You can also see I put the occasional torch on the fences. That's just to light it up and also to just look a little different, although I just realized I didn't put any on here, so I'll do that. That should make it look a little more consistent. But I'm just really happy with the way this turned out. So now that this is all done, I've got another plan for today. We're going to work on, or we're going to start working on out here. Because I like the idea of this, but oh, string. Okay. I like the idea of this, but I don't like the way this turned out. It's too small. I like the idea of having a skylight in here like I did. So I'm going to try to keep that, but this is just too small. For the entrance of my base, it's too small. So my plan, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to connect up these mountains, kind of raise up the hillside around the back here, around the back of the tree. I'm going to wind up clearing out a lot of this stuff, a lot of these trees, this dirt in here. I'm going to try and just kind of connect this around to here This one's going to need to be bulked out a lot. You can see it's a little too thin to connect up to this guy over here, although it might not be as bad as I'm thinking it is. This is going to be a big project. So the way I'm going to end up keeping the skylight is I'm just kind of going to roll this thing around here and then just leave this space open. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to connect them in front of the tree like that. If I do that, I'm probably going to need to add another cliff face like these right around here. If I do that, that's going to be a lot more work, but I think that's going to be worth it for the way it's going to end up looking. So I'm going to start working on this today. I'm definitely not going to finish it, but I think I'm going to plan it out. I'm going to clear off the trees for starters. Get the trees, the grass, any extra stuff like flowers, all that, get all of it out of here. And then I'm going to just sort of start outlining it with dirt. And then from there, we're going to see how much we can get done today. So yeah, I'm just going to get on that. Alright, I got some stuff done. I got those trees cleared off like I said I was going to do, and I got all the grass and the flowers picked off. So this is all looking very nice and clean and easy to work with right now. So I thought I would just show this off real quick. And one other thing, I don't remember if I showed this before or not, but you may notice there's a bit of a hollow spot right there in the mountain. And I actually came through there one other time. I believe it was either by accident or it was because I had heard some zombies or something like that. And it's actually just an opening inside. I forget where exactly I broke through. It was somewhere right around here. It was back when I was working on my old farm, I think. So I just lit it up back then and thought I would show it off right now in case you hadn't seen it. But getting back to this is looking really nice, and I'm thinking this is going to work out pretty well, my plan right now. So just to reiterate, I'm going to try to connect this around the back side of this tree over to this right here. This is definitely too thin right now though, so I'm going to need to bulk it out, I'm going to need to bulk out a lot right in here. That's going to be the main spot where I'm going to need to bulk it out. And then I'm just going to bring it around with the mountain that's already there. And then connect it up over here. And then about the spot around front, I'm not so sure about that yet. I'm going to get the back done, and then I'm going to see if I want to do the front. First thing I'm going to do, though, is tear this thing out, because if I do what I'm planning here, I'm not going to need this. Plus, I don't exactly need this right now as it is, because this pretty much keeps the mobs out on their own. I don't think they can really figure out how to get down here. So I feel pretty safe leaving this open. Not completely safe, because obviously I can pop up right here and there can be a zombie or a creeper or something. I actually did that earlier today. I came out and there was a zombie. So it's not totally safe, but it should be safe enough. So I'm going to rip this thing out now. It feels so wrong ripping it out just after I built it. But I'm going to tear that out. Then I'm going to start using dirt and blocking out the outer edges of where I want this thing to go. So, wish me luck, guys. This is going to be a lot of work. Alright guys, I thought I'd been going long enough and I'll give you a quick little update. So you can see I've got a lot of these rings of dirt going around here, and this is what I'm doing to kind of visualize how this is gonna go. You can see right here, this line of dirt right here, this is the front edge. So this is going to be what you see from the ground, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually planning on building this up a bit like a cliff. So it's not going to be as mountainous as these are, it's more just going to drop right off. And I'm actually planning on having it step in a little bit as it goes down, and then maybe towards the bottom sort of curve back out, something like that. Obviously not as extreme as a curve like that, but something relatively straight but still has a little bit of a bow to it. So that's the plan for the front edge. Gonna need to clear out a lot of this stuff. These rows along here I can show you better from up here. So right here you can see these are going to be the top edge. So these you can imagine just grass like rolling across here. So everywhere from there down along here, and then following these, the angle gets a lot sharper as you get farther over here. Then back here is going to be a bit more mountainous, more like these. So that's where I'm at with the plan for right now. I've got a lot of extra work left to do. So this is probably going to be a multi-day project for me. I'm not exactly sure how much of it I'm going to get into one video, but as far as I'm aware, I think I can get all of this in the same video. That's not a promise, but I'm going to at least try to get this back portion of this this thing I'm building in this part of the video. So I'll get back to work. I'll start probably I'll finish up the dirt section on top, and then I'll start filling in the stone sections. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to fill it up or not, like fill everything in. I'm pretty sure, no, I'm absolutely certain actually, that I have the stone for it. But I'm not sure if I've got the time for it. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, I'm going to try to get this dirt section along here finished up real quick. Then I'm going to start working on the stone. And we'll see, I might not update from here on. I might just cut back when it's all finished, or mostly finished. There's probably going to be a detailing phase that I'm not going to get to right now. But I'll get back to work on this. I had to say it. I had to go and say that it would be fine. There's no problem with this being here out in the open. No, I had to say that. It wasn't fine. Decided to come up this thing and forgot to check whether or not it was night out. Of course it was night out, and every mob in the game just decided to spawn right here. So while I'm getting surrounded by zombies and skeletons and spiders, Creeper just walks around the back of the tree and blows it up. I managed to put back a couple of the logs I got from it, but I don't know if it took out any of the leaves or not. I'm gonna have to go back and check the videos to see if it did, but I'll get it looking back like normal if there's anything off about it. But anyways, I got the cliff done, or the whatever it's supposed to be. Right now it's pretty much just a cliff. I am gonna do more to this, but I did get it all built up. It took a long time and it was a lot of work. That dirt up there, that is the outer ring where I said it was going to be. I put this ring here as kind of a rough guide to keep me aligned with it, but I was back a little farther than I thought I would be. So it's a little mismatched right now, but that's where the detailing phase of this is going to come in. And that's going to be another process entirely just in and of itself. So this is looking really good right now. Nice and big, it's tall. It is doing pretty much exactly what I wanted it to do. You can see it is, I mean, it's pretty massive. It's not as tall as the tree though, funny enough. The tree is still taller than it. So now at this point, the only thing I have to do is I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to continue this along in front of where this opening is. And if I do that, that obviously won't be there. You can see I put the ring around there just to sort of guide it out. I'm not sure about that yet. I'm going to have to decide on that. Then this portion is still untouched. That one is going to be a project in itself because I'm going to essentially be building a sort of a natural structure of sorts. It's going to be an arch, but it's also going to be like the top of these. It's going to be a thing. And then whether or not I do the other one that goes around here is another thing entirely. I said I might need another cliff face around here for that, but I'm thinking if I do that, I may instead make it look like there was like a cliff or a mountain here, and I may carve it out to be like the pillars downstairs, or down in the mines, I should say. I did make one little change here. Instead of having the scaffolding here, because I kept bugging out whenever I went through it, I put just a plain water source block with a sign here. You can see the normal bubble vader is there, but this is just a lot nicer than having the bubble vader go all the way up. You can see when I go up to the top of it, it's just a nice slow descent back down. So it's not all violent and you don't get shot up and down and bobbing up and down and whatever. So that's just nicer. All of this is still fine from the explosion. I gotta fill that back in, I gotta put the log back, and I gotta replace whatever leaves are gone. But aside from that, this is looking really nice. I'll run around back real quick and show you that. And just walking up here, you can already see the effects of it. Like, this wasn't as tall as this is now before. It was cut off right around this level. So it just added a couple extra blocks to that ledge. And you can see it is nice and smooth-ish. It still needs some work. I just finished building this thing up, so it still needs some polishing. This is a little too sharp off the back. I think I'm going to roll it out a little bit more. Up here, up top, I'm fine with it. You can see the tree here. Like I said, just a little bit higher. This tree, you can actually jump up here now if you want, which is kind of funny. It's a pretty nice view of the area. This up here, I might end up doing something with eventually. Like I might like make a tower up here or something just to get a good view of the environment. But for right now, this is a pretty good start for what we're doing here. So coming back down here real quick, I think I'm going to get started just a little bit on the detailing for this thing. I don't have a totally perfect idea of what I'm going to be doing here yet, but I do have a good bit of an idea for like this area around here, what I'm going to want to do, and a little bit for the cliffside itself. This is mostly going to just end up being me messing around off camera, just to get something looking quite how I want it. I obviously need to get a couple logs and build this back up. I need to check, probably after the video, just how this tree looked before, so I can fix it. But I'll grab some stuff, I'll come back up and we'll start working on this area up here real quick. Hopefully that won't take too long, because I think the video is starting to get a bit long and I don't want it to take too long, but I do want to mess with this a little bit. Alright, and back up here. I got my stuff together so we can get started, hopefully. Alright, I got a nice little base camp set up now, so we should be good to go, and I forgot the oak. I'll be back. Alright, I got well more than I think I should need, and funny enough, I'm just going to take this right down to here, because my plan actually involves me tearing this stuff out just a little bit. So let me start just sort of digging this stuff out. Now my plan right now is to turn this little area into like a little pond. So I'll actually need to go down a few blocks. That's probably actually not enough there. I'll probably want to go down 2 blocks at the deepest end. So starting out, just ripping out the old stone that I had. I'm not quite sure how big exactly I want to make this area. I'm just going to mess around with this a little bit and see what sort of shape I come up with. Alright, so I've got a shape now that I'm pretty happy with. I think this is going to be the final shape for the pond itself. You can see I lowered down these sections right here, and I took the ladder off of this one. Not because I don't think the ladder will hold the water. I'm actually not sure about that. I've never tested whether or not a ladder can hold water. But because there's going to be water above this, I don't feel a need for the ladder to be there. I'm just going to leave it as is, like this with a sign, because having the 2 blocks of water above it, I won't need to worry about mobs anyways. They'll always just be swimming on top of it. So that should be pretty good. And aside from making me a sitting duck when I come up out of here at night, this should turn out pretty nice. So the plan now is I'm going to start tearing out this dirt, going to replace it with a mix of stone, andesite, maybe some cobblestone. I'm going to do that all the way around here, especially around this area. Oh, forgot to fill that back in. I'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm going to start mixing this all together and sort of blending it in. And then once I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm going to put the water in, and then we'll see how it looks like that. I'm thinking I'm going to make some coarse dirt, and I'm going to put that around the edges. So it's not just going to be a transition from grass straight to stone or whatever is going to be down there, stone and andesite. So I'm going to make up some coarse dirt. I'm going to try that. I actually don't think I've ever used coarse dirt before, because there was such a long break between the last time I played this game and jumping on this server. There's a lot of stuff that I've never used before, so it's actually a lot of fun to get to mess around with this stuff. So I'll get everything together, I'll start swapping stuff out, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I've got this basic shape filled in with some different blocks now. I realized that the andesite was going to be too close to the stone to really see through the water, so I decided to throw in some cobblestone too. I'm going to see how that turns out. I think it should look okay from up above the water. Right now it kind of sticks out a lot, but I'm kind of okay with that even. I got the coarse dirt in, and it looks just how I wanted it to. I'm thinking about making some stone buttons and just popping them down every now and again as little stones. I've seen a few people do that. I think that's generally a pretty nice idea. I might also make up some little bushes, put some flowers and stuff around. I'll mess around with a few things. You can see I also put coarse dirt here under where the tree grows up through to make it look like it's a little more broken up from the tree. I think this is a pretty good design the way it is right now. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this thing up with water, and then we're going to see how it looks. And then after that, I think I'm going to end up calling the video there. But let's see how this thing looks first. Alright, I got it all filled up with water, and it looks pretty good if I'd say so myself. Got some detail work to do, but this all is starting to really come together now. This whole thing, so much better than just that silly little cave I had next to this tree. I'm really liking how this is coming along in the back here. This pond I really like. I think I'm going to try to put some fish in it. Hopefully they don't wind up swimming down these holes, because if they do, that could be a problem. Not for me so much as just constantly losing fish if they decide to keep swimming down there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of glowstone though, and I'm going to put it just beneath this hole right here, because this one's the down hole, and I want to be able to tell the difference pretty easily without needing to swim down here and actually look at them both. So I'm planning on doing that, plus it would light it up at night so I can run straight to it. I'm also going to put some lily pads in here, so maybe I can just kind of like skip my way over into there so that I don't have to run into any mobs. But we'll see how all that goes. I'm going to call the episode here, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you watching all the way through. And I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you later.